Wayfinder is a character-based online action game brought to life through the partnership of Airship Syndicate, the creators of The Ruined King, a League of Legends story, and Darksiders Genesis, with Digital Extremes, the team known for their work on the incredibly successful free-to-play third-person action shooter, Warframe. Through this partnership, the team plans to bring their extensive progression and systems found from Warframe into a more stylized fantasy setting, while also giving the game its own unique twist. Wayfinder sports an extensive progression system, open world exploration, fast-paced, character-based action combat, dungeons, world bosses, player housing, and so much more. So it's not surprising when maybe some of us might get confused getting buried underneath all of these gaming buzzwords. In this video, I want to go over what we can expect from Wayfinder's early access, the good, the bad, and everything in between, to hopefully make everyone's experience into the world of Evanor as exciting and smooth as possible. So let's jump right in. As always, I will be creating chapters, so feel free to jump around through the video and check what you want and come back to the video if you need a quick refresher on anything in the game, or at least in the game's early access. Now, before we get into any of the systems or endgame progression, I want to go over the first decision a player will make when starting out with Wayfinder. And no, I'm not talking about the classes, at least not yet. Instead, we should quickly talk about the different Founders packs and what their impact may be on gameplay. To experience Wayfinder during early access, you will need to purchase a Founders pack. Founders packs vary from $20 to $150 US and offer various perks, cosmetics, upgrades, and a few minor account progression bonuses. The base pack will include early access, the paid battle pass for season 1, which we will go into detail a bit further on in the video, a Founders flag profile background, and a Founders glyph, as well as the Wayfinder title. At $50, we get the Initiate pack, which includes all of the above, plus a couple weapon skins, an armor die set, the original title and profile glyph, as well as one free Wayfinder token, which will allow you to unlock another Wayfinder for free. At $80, the Awaken pack will include the above, plus a Highland Strider mount and saddle, Rhyme Hunter Cub pet, a Founders housing decoration set, 2 Wayfinder tokens, and a crew member title. Then lastly, at $150, we have the Exalted pack. This pack will have a whopping 4,200 rune silver, the premium store currency, the highly FOMO Heroic Kairos Wayfinder, multiple Wayfinder skins, 3 Wayfinder unlocking tokens, and a permanent 5% battle XP boost. Pack also has the precursor title and profile glyph. Now, some of these packages may feel like they are playing very heavily into FOMO or fear of missing out, and well, they are. This is something that Airship Syndicate has addressed and has also promised us will only be found in the initial Founders packs. And luckily, you have the entire early access to decide if you would like to upgrade your pack while only having to pay the difference to do so. And while on the surface, seeing a permanent XP boost on the Battle Pass or a champion or Wayfinder that you can't get anywhere else or over again might feel bad, I think it's fair, and the actual boosts you may get from these things are so minor that you won't be missing them if you don't get those packages. That said, the Exalted pack does include this Heroic Kairos Wayfinder, which will only be available during the early access and then will be gone for good. But will this Wayfinder be overpowered when compared to the other champions? No. The heroic versions of Wayfinders, which they plan to release more of, have additional echo slots starting at level 1 and a small additional stat boost, but will even out as the player progresses into the game and will mostly just be a cosmetic past that. After early access though, the Founders packs will be gone, and they have said that all the other Wayfinders will be accessible through gameplay and will not require being purchased ever from any pack or any shop. So let's go over these Wayfinders real quick and kind of take a look at what their different archetypes may look like. Do keep in mind that they plan on releasing many more Wayfinders in the future. In fact, I think they've said 1 for every season, and the seasons are, I think, 3 months last I checked. So you can expect about 4 of them every single year, given the 5 that we have at initial release. First, we have Wingrave. Wingrave is the least complex Wayfinder to play, making him an ideal choice for beginners. Wingrave can be considered a support class as he can heal and shield himself and allies, though you can choose to build any of the characters in Wayfinder with whatever weapons and stats you choose, deciding to lean into or lean away from heavy burst damage, healing, support, tanking, damage over time, whatever you can imagine. So build any of these characters however you'd like. Next, we have Silo. Silo is more more of a well-rounded Wayfinder and another great choice to start with. He will utilize grenades, explosives, and damage over time abilities to crowd control and focus his enemies down. Next, we have Nis. Nis is your standard edgelord rogue archetype. She dances around her enemies, defending herself with a cloak of shadows and striking them down with her spectral blades. Nis can be a little bit more complicated of a character than the other 3 starting Wayfinders, but is a great addition to any team. Next, we have Senja, or as I like to call her, Dami Mommy. She is a brutal arena barbarian. Senja could be classified as more of a brawler or tank class. She can taunt enemies, buff allies, and has some more crowd control options than the other Wayfinders. She's fairly complex to play though, and may take some time to master. Kairos is the mage Wayfinder you may be looking for. He is fairly simple to play and geared heavily towards dealing damage. Most of his abilities are geared towards area of effect, allowing him to damage multiple enemies at any given time. And last, for Season 1 of Early Access, we have Venomous, the Season 1 Battle Pass Wayfinder. Venomous could be considered a ranged support class. Most of her abilities heal allies while dealing damage to enemies. Her damage centers around poison damage that deals damage over time. She's a relatively easy character to learn and will be greatly appreciated in any team. The world of Evanor offers endless exploration opportunities for players to make each session a unique and exciting adventure. The foundation of this gameplay focuses on character advancement through hunting specific enemies and gathering specialized crafting components to make you and your friends all the more powerful. Wayfinder's progression and gameplay consists of open world areas, dungeons within those areas, and social spaces where large numbers of players can gather, craft, and communicate. While most of the crafting and progression does technically take place in these social spaces, the resources, items, and experience needed to do this crafting will mostly be found in the Lost Zones and open world. The Lost Zones are the instanced dungeons found within Wayfinder. They are procedurally generated and will provide the players with endless challenges. You can access these areas at the Gloom Sphere in Skylight, the social hub town, or at their own location found within the open world. Once you do discover a new location, it will be unlocked for you so you can access it at any time from town. Currently, there are only 2 types of Lost Zones, and these include expeditions and hunts. Expeditions are the instanced procedurally generated dungeons. You will want to kill all of the enemies and thoroughly explore these areas to gain the maximum rewards. Hunts, on the other hand, are more simplified boss fights, of which the mechanics could be anything but simple. In these hunts, you will run straight to the arena and begin the fight with these bosses. No need to explore anymore. Expeditions and hunts will both offer varying types of loot, including echoes, Wayfinder parts, gold, weapon parts, crafting ingredients, and more. Sometimes you might even find cosmetic artifacts and trophies that can be placed within your own player house. But before we get into player housing, let's talk about progression and the different ways you can increase your character's skill within Wayfinder. The first and probably the most obvious will be the upgrading of weapons. Each weapon will have a level associated with it, and you will level up your weapons much like you will find yourself leveling up your Wayfinder. So as you fight different enemies with your two-handed sword, your rifle, or dual-wielded daggers, you will slowly increase that weapon's XP as it levels up and increases in power. And these weapons will be account-wide as well. So if you get your sword and shield skill to level 30, you can hand that down to a new Wayfinder and level them up even faster. As you continue to take out monsters and complete quests, you'll receive experience that will level up your Wayfinder. Once you have enough experience, that particular Wayfinder will level up. This will increase your power rating as well as giving you additional echo slots. But what are echo slots? For those of you who have not played Warframe and maybe aren't used to these kind of systems, echoes are items you can gain from participating in various different activities within the game. You can think of echoes as kind of your armor slots or your item upgrades that will increase your stats and abilities for your character. Starting off though, you will have a limited number of slots, and like I said previously, you will slowly unlock more and more slots to put more and more echoes in, greatly boosting your character's power. Every echo will have different stats as well as different modifiers, but you can fuse them together to level them up if you get ones that you don't need, or you can even sell them to get some gold. To be honest, echoes are very, very in-depth, and I could probably make a whole 20-minute video just off of echoes themselves, and maybe I will. If you guys smash that like button down below, I'll just keep making more and more Wayfinder videos. But let's move on to the next topic. Seasons. Seasons are how the game will tell its story stories, be themed around specific characters, have new cosmetics, events, and even more. A new season is currently expected to release roughly every 3 months or so. Each season will be introduced by a cinematic featuring a brand new Wayfinder. Wayfinder's first early access season is going to be titled Gloombreak and will be centered around Venomous, the ranged damage over time and healing support class. Included in these seasons will be the Wayfinder Reward Tower, or Wayfinder's answer to Battle Passes. Luckily, and contrary to some other games, these Battle Passes will never expire. However, you must purchase the Reward Tower within that season, or you will not be able to purchase it ever again. So if you find you don't have enough time to complete one of these Reward Towers, you don't have to worry about it. There's no rush. You can always come back and complete it at a later date. Granted, you did purchase it while it was active. The Reward Tower UI is set up like a mini board game. Instead of leveling through the Reward Tower, you'll earn keys as you progress through content. Each key will unlock one of the nodes. You will need to work your way down each node in order to gather the rewards associated with that node. The number of nodes per Reward Tower is likely to fluctuate based on the theme of each season. However, you can expect roughly 100 nodes to progress within each Wayfinder Reward Tower, granting the player with new characters, cosmetics, resources, gold, and titles, and I'm not even creative enough to come up with all of the things that will be available in this. There will also be some adventure elements hidden within this system as well. For example, as you progress, you may discover a switch that you can flip that's next to one of the nodes you unlock, and it'll drop a gate down, letting you progress in a different new direction, or possibly even reveal secrets or cosmetics that no one else has found yet, making a more interesting, or even, dare I say, roguelike type elements to the Battle Pass found within Wayfinder. Something that I'm incredibly excited to explore and see what I can unlock early on. Lastly, I want to talk about player housing. The first iteration of player housing will include apartments that you can customize to your liking. The apartment is kind of your starter home, or their first rendition of what player housing may look like within Wayfinder, and it's just an interior that's instanced. However, Airship Syndicate does have plans of adding housing, which will include a much more in-depth system built within neighborhoods, allowing players to have their own exterior spaces as well as having neighbors that they could just walk across the street and say hi to. The early access apartments are described by the developers as your room at an inn within Skylight, the first social hub, and it's your space to personalize however you see fit. You'll be able to customize your apartment with thousands of various housing items at early access even, and this will include both cosmetics as well as some gameplay items. So you'll see things like beds, furniture, tables, chairs, lights, just kind of your normal cosmetic items, but you will also see some artifacts and trophies. Artifacts are items that will come with some various powers. Most artifacts will be earned from defeating bosses within the game. You'll be able to select a few of these artifacts within your house and use them to gain powers when out in the world. You will also have trophies, which are kind of a mix between cosmetics and artifacts. They will be items that you will place within your home that you can interact with once a day from within your house to earn a reward from these trophies. And while they won't give you power while out exploring the world, they will give you minor bonuses, whether it's a bonus key or something else. So consider them a fun little non-passive item to add to your own player house. Now, I don't want to keep you guys here for, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours. There's a ton of great videos and dev interviews out there, of which I'll link in my description down below. But I think that covers a lot of the basics and the things you want to know going into the early access of Wayfinder. If you have any questions, do ask them down below, or even better, come join our community Discord, where we have tons of people excited for this game. We're talking about it every single day. Hopefully we actually plan on making a guild and kind of exploring that once the guild system is implemented within Wayfinder. If you like my content, come on over to my Twitch channel sometime. I'm streaming every single day for the rest of August, and we'll be playing a ton of Wayfinder. So I'd love to have you guys there. Come talk, let's listen to some music, just relax and have a good time. Anyways, I look forward to playing this game so much. I hope you guys are really hyped about it as well. My name is Spun. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.